Tune into Radio Africa Europe, the home of African diaspora.
She's here, and I told you guys we are going to talk about the word which she had a problem when she started, but nowadays she's a pro when it comes to that word, entrepreneurship. And you know what? I realized that in one way or another, we have tried to be business people. We have tried to be entrepreneurs in one way. I was an entrepreneur when I was, I think, 7 years old.
Yes.
I used to sell something and I get profit.
Yes.
But I realized that point in time, I was not a clever entrepreneur because my profit was being controlled by someone. That you can only get this little amount.
But isn't it, I mean, you were like an entrepreneur at 7 years old.
Yeah.
Somebody was
controlling the
there
profit.
was a cartel, right? There was a cartel.
There was a cartel.
But you had the fortunate possibility to start this when you were 7 years old, because lots of people only start this when they're like 27 years old.
When
or
they're
37 years old.
Or 37 years old.
And they don't have this flexibility of mind to understand, hey, okay, so we have a cartel, what are we going to do about it? Because, I mean, there are lots of things that influence what you do. The only thing is you learn that at a young age, which means gives you an incredible bounce back and resilience. But when people get older, they've got all these issues.
And yeah, so we are talking about resilience and persistence, and that is the biggest thing, because I said everybody in one way or another, whether you are employed or that, you try aside to do something. That is entrepreneurship.
I don't know. I don't know. I think that lots of people, they live in this golden cage, and they would like to do something,
Oh yeah.
but they are caught in the money thing, or the status thing, or the thing of being important, and lots of people they don't dare to take the step right or take the step left, because they are caught in this golden cage.
But for those people who have taken the step and they made that step,
Yes.
and then they realize that this is not the step I was expecting. Things are not going. So they have to be resilient into this, and they have to persevere and say, okay, I'm in and I have to do it.
Yes. Well, I think that lots of people start out with the best intentions, but they have certain expectations.
Okay.
They have the expectation, well, now I'm going to become rich, or now it's going to work like that, or my life standard is going to increase. You know, they have all these expectations, and they don't go into it open-mindedly, and they don't go into it with the adventure. Because something I love that Oprah Winfrey always says and said is, when you are going to go into something for the money, you are going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
But when you go into something with the adventure, with the fun, and to learn, you'll be able to persevere.
Wow, you will be able to persevere.
Yes.
You have interacted with a lot. How many people have you mentored to start businesses?
I don't know. I don't know.
So many.
No, I think maybe 400.
400.
Yes.
Out of the 400 people you have interacted with and all that, what is the common mistakes people make at the early stage of entrepreneurship or starting any kind of business?
They want too much too soon.
Okay.
They don't know enough about their value. It's always a value thing. It's always who am I in relation to, who am I in relation to, and they don't know how to value themselves. And then it becomes difficult because they either value themselves too low, or they value themselves too high. And they're asking themselves, so where are these clients? And I'm saying, but nobody knows that you exist. You've got nothing that makes you unique. You're not unique. And it's not what you do, it's who you are. You know, this uniqueness. And when you've discovered your own uniqueness, you can actually be yourself. But lots of people have learned how to be a copy of somebody else. They are so looking up to somebody, they're always trying to be somebody else. And when I say to them, you have to be you, that is the first thing they have to learn, to be themselves.
Yeah, but when you talk about you have to be you, sometimes we make decisions based on emotions. So because okay, this business is all about me because I'm this and this. I want to do this business out of the emotions and attachments to it. Is that also maybe might be a problem because sometimes also you have to think of the customer expectations and what value you are adding to the customer vis-a-vis the emotional attachment.
Okay. So now you go and you have to pitch your idea at the client, right?
Yeah.
The client, there are two things that play a role: the product that you're selling, or the service, and yourself.
And yourself. Yeah.
And if this yourself isn't the person, I personally think that person yourself makes bigger impact than the product you're selling. Because you walk in somewhere, you've got your length, you've got your body, you've got your smile, and you've got this you are very much you, and you're very much present.
Yeah.
And lots of people don't know who they are. They've got no identity.
Yeah.
And so they hope that this product is going to sell all by itself. And it doesn't work like that. I mean, you have to be someone who is present and someone of presence, right?
Yeah.
Come on! I mean, it's easy for you to laugh. You know why it's easy for you? Because you have it.
Okay.
You don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
And
But if I want to get it somewhere,
but if you don't have it,
and that comes to marketing.
marketing yourself, marketing your product,
yourself,
Yes.
marketing yourself, marketing the product,
Yes.
marketing the service you are offering.
Yes.
And do you find sometimes people also market in wrong places, or they just don't know when to market?
Just try, and they're just going to throw with a whole lot of hail and hope it's going to hit something. It's not so bad. And if you're selling coffee, let's say coffee, you've got wonderful coffee beans and they come from a beautiful. People are glad that if someone else just buys the coffee. But instead of saying, hey, you know what, I'm going to try this 5-star resort hotel, I'm going to go for the top of the notch. I mean, if you shoot for the stars, you're going to hit the moon if it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
But lots of people don't have this personal value. They don't value themselves to even go into conversation with somebody who's at the 5-star hotel. And they're saying,
you're not so sure of what you want
to catch their breath.
Yeah.
And it happens in lots of things. It happens in, and then they say, business doesn't work for me. No, they don't work for the business. They don't have this natural leadership that you need. You need this personal leadership. You need to understand that people, they want to do business with you. They want. I mean, when I go in somewhere, I have to be convinced of the fact they want to do business with me.
Yeah.
So let's see how we are going to get that far, that we are actually going to reach this consensus.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the person here. So we've got no issues. So let's do it together.
Let's do it together.
Together.
So packaging, how to package
Yes.
the product, how to package
Yes.
yourself when you are going.
Yes.
And I think this is the biggest problem for most of the
Yes.
entrepreneurs or
Yes.
upcoming or people. But do you sometimes that fear of, okay, I don't feel I'm ready yet?
Oh, start before you're ready, you mean?
When is the right time for you to start?
Never.
There is no right time.
No. I mean, it's like when you think, people procrastinate every day.
Yeah.
Procrastination is like a second skin for the human being.
Yeah.
If you are going to wait until emotionally and physically and psychologically and physiologically you think it's the right moment, it's never going to happen. So you're going to have to jump over your shadow and say, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it. Because readier than this doesn't get. When people are forced to do things, when good stuff, right? When people are just forced to use their talents, all of a sudden you're on stage and you have to sing, and there's no preparation for. It's amazing to see how they can sing.
The talent they have in there.
Yes,
Yeah.
but sometimes you need to push it a bit.
them.
Yes, and people find it difficult to push themselves. So that's why they need someone else,
To
help them
To
along.
help them along
Yeah.
and just make them make that difficult
Yes,
choice.
because once you've done it,
Yeah.
you never do it again. Then you only go on.
Yeah. People sometimes don't know, because I've seen most of the entrepreneurs also at the early stage, they have a problem on what I call cutting the niche, knowing like, okay, this is the problem I want to solve.
Yes.
This is the value I want to add to these people.
Yes.
So they are all over the place. sometimes you find somebody doing everything. For
Yeah.
example, if I'm a musician, I want to sing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
People tell me, "Oh, you got a good voice. You can sing."
Yeah.
But
Can you sing?
sometimes people, okay, I can sing.
Yes.
Yeah. But now the problem is, what kind of music can I sing? Or what kind of a
Yes.
song can I
Yes,
do?
exactly.
Yeah.
The one you like.
The one. Okay. The one you like.
Because the one you like is the one you will sing the best, right?
The one you like is the one you will sing the best. So, when it comes to entrepreneurship, it's what you're passionate for.
Yes, because I firmly believe if you are passionate. I mean, last week I went to a seminar, and it was a leadership seminar at University of Erasmus, and somebody said to me, "Madam," and I said, "Yes," and he said, "Can you swim?" I said, "No, I'm an African." But no, I mean it. I can't swim because I've always grown up at the coast.
Yeah.
And when you grow up at the coast, people think you can swim, but I can't. I can never learn to swim in the sea. And we didn't have anything like swimming pools. It just didn't exist. So what happened is I said, "No, I can't swim." And he said, "Here's a picture of a photo of a wonderful lake and the snow tops there and some." And he said, "If there's a child at 10 meters, could you jump in?" I said, "Of course." And he said, "But you can't swim." I said, "Okay, I'll save the child."
I'm going to save the child.
I'm gonna, and he said, "But your shoes." I said, "Okay." And he said,
Don't
"Your dress."
care,
I
I'm just
don't care. I'm saving the child.
Yeah.
And he said, "The water's cold." I said, "I didn't notice." And I was like, but you know, if you are passionate and motivated, you're not going to look at the what nots. You're going to look at what can I do. And that I like that. You know, when you are passionate and motivated to do something, not somebody pushing you. No, when you have this internal motivation and it works, then it happens. That's the magic.
So that motivation, because I like to give practical examples with sports people. If you look at the sports people, they enjoy what they are doing. For example, if you were to mention Serena Williams.
Oh wow, this woman. Oh wow, this woman's got a body.
Yeah.
Yes, a wonderful body.
And she's doing great she's breaking the records and records and records.
Yeah.
And it's just the passion. Even if she's
determined, right?
Yeah, she's so determined. If you see how she's doing it.
And she hits a ball. That ball's ending up somewhere.
Somewhere. And you see, and then if you go to football, which you don't watch, I know. You look at Cristiano Ronaldo and all these other. Yeah, it's passion
It's
and
all about
motivation.
passion. Yes.
But why, when it's come to this other kind of entrepreneurship, we, as you say, we do put money first.
Yes. I understand it. Listen, I understand. You put money first because if money is your most essential need, you put money first. Let's not get crazy, right?
Yeah.
If you have sufficient money, or you live in a country where money is not a problem for some people, then other things become important. But the first need they need food, they need money.
Yeah.
So that is something that the entrepreneur has to overcome. You have to have even more talents and even more drive than the person who actually is 5 steps ahead of you. But entrepreneurship is never about being easy. I mean, being a football player and being a tennis player at this level, I mean, these people have this internal drive because this is their talents, this is what they're going to be the best at, they're going to exceed at this. But now it comes to entrepreneurship, and lots of people, they don't quite know what they want to do, so they think I'll become an entrepreneur, as though it's like the last resort.
Yeah.
And some people study and they say to me, I don't know what I'm going to do, I think I'll become an entrepreneur, as though it's something that happens by the way. They have no clear goal. Listen, Serena Williams knew by the age of 5 she was going to be this great tennis star. Yeah. Ronaldo knew by the age of 10 he was going to be it.
Yeah.
And that is also something. I mean, you can see it later in life, but you're going to have to go for it with the same passion and the same dedication and the same motivation as these people do.
Yeah, and you talk about that entrepreneurship is not like looking at those who having an image and you want to be the Bill Gates, the Mark Zuckerberg and all these people.
Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk.
And Elon Musk,
yes.
all these Jack Ma.
I love him too. He's a great guy.
He's a great guy. But you see, entrepreneurship you don't have to be there. You have to be who you are. You have to be yourself.
Yes.
But the problem is, how do people determine or come to know that, okay, this is me, this is who I want to be?
Okay, now you're asking me a difficult question. I mean, ask me something else. Lots of people, when I say to them, be yourself, people actually come to me and say, but Lucinda, who am I? And I find that a sad question.
Who am I?
Who am I?
Okay.
I said, okay, this can take a bit longer. But that I found the most interesting part. I mean, that is like elementary, right? That is
it's the entry point of everyone.
Yes, of life.
Who am I?
Yes, who am I? And I mean, the first time somebody said this to me, I was like, oh, but it's true.
Yeah.
People think they need to be someone to be successful. So they look at these people and look at themselves and they're thinking, big difference here.
Big difference here. I have to be this person.
Yes, how do I get to be, because we even have a vision of success. It looks like Bill Gates. But I don't think so. I think success and how you do it, could even look like Oprah Winfrey when she was 10 years old. We don't have to look the part. We have to be determined.
The determination.
Yes.
Yeah, so people... yeah, it was a difficult question by the way. If somebody comes to you and asks, who am I?
Oh no, and you know, they've got tears in their eyes because they really want to solve this puzzle. They need to solve this puzzle because if we don't solve the puzzle of who am I,
then I don't trust you.
don't get to the next point.
Yeah, I don't trust you if you can tell me who I am.
So I can tell you a whole lot of things, but you're gonna have to tell me who you are, right? I mean, that's it.
Yeah, so how do you help them to discover who they are? Because I think you can only help them to know who they are, but you can't know who they are.
Well, it starts really at the basics. What do you like?
Yeah.
And if I would, how would you sketch the perfect you? What does the perfect you look like?
Yeah.
And then they add all these kind of attributes, you know, that they don't have, but they want. And then I say, okay, so we've just written down the differences between the ideal you and the person you are. So what are we going to do to get there? What do we have to do to get there? And because that's the person they are happy with. That is the person they've given an identity. Somebody who's successful, somebody who's wonderful, somebody who's amazing. And I didn't know it until I thought, that's a crazy question, right?
Yeah, you know, because I remember I was in a certain class and I also people asked me the same question, but I asked them like, who do they want to be?
Yes.
And then I do it in color coding. So you know, you have the red, the green, the purple, and the orange, and then everyone chooses to be red.
Yes, and a little bit orange and a little bit green. Nobody has to be blue. No, but it's a sad question because that means, I think lots of people have it, but you first have to know who you are before you can start with where do I want to go to. And I think when you're 20-something, you can have a totally different passion. And when you're 30-something, you can have a totally different new idea. And what I love about entrepreneurship is you grow into it, right? I mean, you are like this big shot a movie maker, and you're editing, and you're doing some great stuff. But this might not be something you do in 10 years' time.
Yeah.
Because you're going to evolve. You're going to get to the next step. You're going to make some great things happen. And people seem to think that what you can do is you can do the rest of your life as an entrepreneur. But that's not true.
Yeah, because that, I think also something very important is the technology evolution. And if you look at the technology has changed a lot of things.
Yes.
I know people who used to be teachers.
Yes.
Nowadays I see them, they are not in class anymore. Yeah.
Oh no, postman. I mean, no. I mean, I know because in Holland they used to say, if you were born to become a postman, you could be a postman all your life.
All your life.
And these people were so happy being a postman.
Yeah.
But the problem was, at a certain moment in time, they said, we're going to stop it because of technology.
Yeah.
And these people were totally confused. But I wanted to be a postman. That was my dream, my life. And
When you have come to you, ask you who am I discover myself and all that.
All the colors,
All the colors, the reds and all this.
You've discovered who you want to be.
Who you want to be. But sometimes I find the product I wanted to put into the market is not aligned with that market.
This is interesting because now automatically what springs to mind is, you know that when Henry Ford said, I'm going to make a car, you know what the people said to him? No, we want faster horses. We don't want a car.
Because
we don't know what a car is. We know horses.
Horses, yeah.
So, and the same thing happened to Steve Jobs. I mean, he made computers where everybody said we don't need computers. And so these two have a lot in common with each other. The car, they wanted faster horses, and computers, they said no, we can write it down. And now you can imagine. So I don't know if it's true that you are not aligned with your market. I think you are approaching your market in a wrong way. I think you should you shouldn't only say this is what I have. You should really say to them, listen, the problem might not be right now, but within time this could become a challenge, and I have the solution to it.
And that requires a little bit of patience there, because again,
yes,
we want to be that person over there, because maybe in 5 or 10 years Mark Zuckerberg is not going to be the big guy in the market anymore. Somebody else will be there, or some technology is going to take over.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know what? Before I get to Mark Zuckerberg, I want to get to in 1979 there was a guy. He was an Indian. And he came to the Netherlands, and he had no official schooling, but this guy had a brand called Max. And out of the back of his car, out of his boot, he actually started selling this beautiful skirts and beautiful t-shirts. So his brand was on there, Max, and he started selling it to all these shops on the markets and everything. He worked day and night. And 5 years later, his brand was in every top store. Okay, after 35 years, his brand doesn't exist anymore because it evolved, moved on. But the whole idea, some people are not prepared to do what is necessary. They have this idea we have to start somewhere, and often we have to start nowhere.
Often you have to start nowhere. So the pioneers, these guys, they tried, maybe they will fail. Even after they fail, somebody is going to modify that and make it even much better. Because if you look at the evolution of mobile telephone,
wow,
great history. And now it used to be smart. We call it smartphone, but it's making it even more.
That's amazing, right?
Yeah. And to you, what is the best way for marketing strategies? To do the 4 P's? Or do the 4 P's apply on starting a new product, or the 7 P's apply all the way?
It's interesting because 2 days a month I teach at the university, and you will not believe what I teach. I used to teach marketing, and a while ago one of my students said to me, "Ma'am, the 4 P's," and I said, "Does it exist?" I said, "We only need one, and that is one of promotion." And I said to him, so it's time to write an essay on promotion, because please don't get confused. We don't need price anymore, we don't need location, and we certainly don't need a product, because we need to start promoting before we have the rest. There are so many brands. There was a brand called Supreme, I'm not quite sure, a t-shirt. They were pushing this whole market. They were pushing it on YouTube, they were pushing it on Instagram, and it was a brand called Supreme, and they were showing these beautiful t-shirts, and everybody wanted one. They had no idea what it was going to cost. So the only thing they had was they were promoting something that nobody knew what it would cost. And all of a sudden a shop opened up in Amsterdam called Supreme, and everybody was lying in front of the shop the night before, and the t-shirts were 224 euros per piece.
Wow.
Yes.
But
they didn't care. They won.
And you mentioned ladies. How did you get hold of these 21 ladies first?
They were not all ladies. I've got 18 ladies and 3 men.
The ratio is still high.
I know. The whole idea was to start off with only women, and this one man comes to me and says, "Oh, I'm so excited about this book," and I'm thinking, oh, okay, that's how we happen to be in there.
So it's
I'm sorry,
I like it. I like it, and I'm just going to read to our viewers this: from hardship to a purposeful life.
Yes.
I love that. You know, even if they say never judge a book by its cover, I'm allowed to judge this.
Yes.
Yeah, because from a hardship to a purposeful life, how to be the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
So don't come and ask Lucinda,
Who am I? Oh, you could. We can do it together.
Yeah.
You can do the color part, and I'll do the drawing part. Okay?
Drawing part. Who we are. Okay. And okay, the only 21 stories you will ever need to be a success, to be successful in life and in business.
Yes. And then you're probably asking me, how do you get to a title like this?
Yes.
Okay. What I often see with people is they run from this one to that one to that one to that one to that one to that. Then they go to this, start running again.
Yeah.
In the hope that somebody is going to give them this magical wand that is going to make the difference in entrepreneurship, in them understanding how they can be of value. And I thought, okay, if I would get 21 people from all over the world, Nigeria, Pakistan, Italy, England, Germany, Belgium, doesn't matter where, and these people would give me a perspective on life, how it could start out. Because if you look at Teray Holmes, she's got the first story in the book. She's an American, brought up in the ghetto. Both her parents were addicted before she was born, and she had it's a bad start, right?
Yeah.
And today she is Dr. Teray Holmes. And her story gives me goosebumps, because she gives you all her life lessons and what she learned. Because instead of running to all these people, just start taking a couple of stories and start putting it into practice. We're always hoping to find something that's going to make this wonderful difference, but there is nothing that makes the difference. It is you applying what there is.
Yeah, because do you think it's because sometimes people say, okay, you can try your hands in different and then you find the right thing.
Yes.
But do you also say sometimes, yes, you might try and you find nothing at long run and you get frustrated?
No, I think you should actually, if you have the opportunity, give yourself the time and the chance to do it. But lots of us don't have this possibility.
And does life give that possibility too?
I think life gives it, but people are impatient.
Okay.
People want it now. They don't want to work towards it. I mean, by the time you see all this famousness about, let's say, Oprah Winfrey, nobody seems to understand there's like 20 years of hard work, sweat, stink, everything is there. And there's only this little iceberg that you can see. So you're gonna have to get aligned with yourself. You're gonna have to understand who you are, and in situations where the king comes along and says to you, how are you? You say, how fine, how are you doing? And not put yourself down as a second-rate citizen or be ashamed or issues. I mean, you have to deal with yourself. And what I see in this book is how people have dealt with themselves and with their biggest anxieties, with these dreadful things that happen to them, and not giving the other person the fault, the blame, but looks inside themselves and said, hey, I need to change this. Because if I start understanding that I have to focus, and not be here and there and there, but I've chosen to focus, then I can start.
I don't know who wrote this, but I'm not going to read the whole book to these guys. I'm not going to read the whole book to these guys, but I will try to pick some few things. Ever wonder why some people become the people you look up to?
Yes.
Why they thrive and are role models?
Yes. Why? Because they are undoubtedly and uncompromisingly themselves.
Themselves.
Yes. They're not playing the part, they're not acting, they are just being the expanded version of themselves. People like realness,
People like realness.
Yes.
Okay. You mentioned Ireti. So Ireti wrote here, even though the individual circumstances and experiences differ,
Yes.
the common thread running through all the 21 stories in perseverance, tendency, triumph, and satisfaction through sacrifice and service, and more often as a result of deep personal pain. What is this deep personal pain?
I'm going to have lunch with Ireti and I'm going to discuss this with her, of course. But deep personal pain, I think, is adjusting expectations. when you're an entrepreneur and you're starting out, there is nothing wrong with eating one slice of bread instead of 3.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Or being self-disciplined and having this one slice of bread instead of 3.
Yes.
Please, that is one thing with most of us.
Yes.
We never ever get it. One, I think we are impatient.
Yes.
Number 2, we are more interested into the results than the process.
Yes.
So we want it now, and now.
Mm-hmm.
And how do we learn to be persevere and understand the process instead of just rushing to the results?
You're asking me the $1 million question, of course. But I'm going to try and give it to you as best as I can.
In a few euros.
In a few euros. Now, when I know because when I was a young woman with 2 small children, my husband had gone, and I had to make ends meet.
Yeah.
And the question is, how did I do that? I had a house that was too expensive, and I had 2 small children to look after. So I eventually figured it out. I thought I need a job for 34 hours a week. I don't care what I do, because I knew that I had responsibility. And I knew that every month I worked it out, and the last 4 days of the month I would have no bread.
Okay.
But during the entire month I had no butter either.
Yeah.
So the great part is my children have always said, ooh, butter, ooh, butter. They got used to a situation, and it became something. I said, listen, if we go for this for 2 years, we're going to get out of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to make the best of it within 2 years' time. And after 2 years, we're going to see where we stand. I mean, this is where we are now, and they started seeing it as a sport. And I started seeing it as a sport, because I knew that if I kept on going like this, if I kept on working, studying, and where other people of my age were having a great time and having fun, I went to school in the evenings. Because I knew what I was doing it for. I was doing it because I wanted my children to see that they could do it as well. Because if I'm not the example, who is? And I wasn't ashamed of it. I think that's important as well. I wasn't ashamed of it.
Yeah.
And I also spoke about it as though I wasn't ashamed of it, because when you start feeling ashamed of this one slice of bread that you have, the shame gets to you. And when you start saying, but I have a goal, I have a dream, I have something I want to achieve, then all of a sudden this one slice of bread becomes a kind of a good story. You know, you've got your storyline for later in life.
And many people try, because the moment you give me 500, but the book is how many pages? The book is
it's not that many. I think
it's not that many.
125.
It's 125 if you it's 130 something, but I think because you have a preface and all that, so it's 143. But yeah, there was a story I wanted to read.
I know them by heart, so just tell me which one it is.
Yeah, the story of discipline.
Oh.
Yeah, because you talk about discipline, you talk about it has come to a time where people realize that, you know what, if you want to drive the hottest car in market, you work hard for it. But nowadays people realize that if I want to drive the hottest car in market, I work hard for it.
Yes.
Yeah? And I love discipline. I learned that the best way to start doing things is to develop habit and rituals that facilitate and to be strict.
Yes.
We go back to that bread.
Yes, we go back to the bread.
We go back to the bread, having a single slice, and not worried about what people will say.
No.
Not listening to people saying, but you are starving yourself.
Yes.
Why are you just having a single bread and you can have all the
Yes. Maybe it's good to have a single bread and drink lots of water. Maybe it's good to eat only vegetables. Maybe it's good, but people always have they always have their ideas as to how you should give shape to your life. And if you are susceptible to what others think and feel and whatever, they are always going to be dominating your life.
And this is a famous guy. He said, for many years I thought my ego and identity were based on the number of trophies I won and the control I exercised over my emotions.
Yes. You like a new story, right?
Until the crash that erased my identity in a second.
Yes.
In that moment, When you don't know who you are anymore, the only way out is to find out why you are here.
Yes.
With this in mind, my accident and the path that I followed, I'm stronger than ever. Through this, I have developed skills that I can help people grow, people who I otherwise would never have been able to reach or understand.
Yes.
When do we know that ego and status, these are just...
They are just things that we put out there to be, that we think it's necessary to have it to be of value to ourselves.
Yeah.
But it serves a purpose if you can use it at the right time. I don't have to constantly say, I'm amazing. It's not. Nobody, I don't want to hear it, and the other person's got no message.
Yeah.
But if you know that when you are somewhere you can tap into it, that you always have it and know where you are, you can use things at different moments, but it's not necessary to use it all the time. And this is an interesting story because he had a car crash. He was a big bodybuilder. I mean, he was like enormous. And had all these women running after him. And when he had this car crash, it jolted his whole body. Everything changed in his body. He's not a top sporter anymore.
Yeah.
And now he had to go back and find out, without these muscles, who am I and what can I be of meaning to the world? And he gives me all these life lessons. And today he turned out to be, he's now teaching young children as a teacher at school who have mental difficulties.
Wow.
Yes.
The last part I'm reading, and then we'll talk about something.
Something else.
Ability meets commitment. I love that.
Which story do we have now?
I love this. And I've jumped to Germany. I just went to Germany, I guess.
Laura Paley? Oh, no, sorry.
No, this one I think is Sylvia.
Oh, Sylvia.
Yes,
Yes.
So Sylvia says, in my opinion, the best way to measure motivation is by observing how people do their daily tasks.
Yes.
If you notice, employees who regularly do what they have been told to do suddenly forget how to do it. How would you react if you are their manager?
I will introduce you to Sylvia.
No, how would you react?
I don't know. I think there is nothing worse than the situation that she puts down here. I know Sylvia, you see, and it's difficult with people. It's most difficult because they come to their work and they don't want to be entrepreneurs. They just want to do their job.
And that's, we limit ourselves. So we wait for someone to think for us.
Yes.
And we have to do it the way these people have decided. And then we complain that robot might take...
Might take our jobs over, but we are adding no value to this job.
But we are in somehow we are robots.
Yes,
because we only do what we are told to do.
But it's, I think it happens more than you think. I think some people can't wait to, when they leave their jobs, they go enjoy life.
Yeah.
But they do this because they don't know anything else. They are caught. And when you're able to live free, to be a free person in your thoughts and your deeds, that is different, you know. But it's difficult because you have to leave all your securities behind.
Well, okay. Challenges yourself every day.
Yes.
How you ask Lucinda, how do you challenge yourself every day?
Wow. You're asking me very difficult things. It's not fair. Challenging yourself every day.
Yeah.
Well, I think I told you I have L Mastermind, and I want to get ahead. I want to get better at it. I want to become better and be the best every day. So I think I constantly have this internal drive to challenge myself to put this down at the highest level possible, which means I have to make appointments with people who I normally wouldn't exactly call up and say, listen, I think you and I have a great match. I would love to meet you. I don't normally do it by calling. I do it via LinkedIn or via Facebook, but often LinkedIn. But I do. So I challenge myself. I get out of the comfort zone. I'm not afraid. And I think I pass my fear every day.
Okay. That's how you pass your fear.
Yes.
The better version of yourself. How do I discover the better version of myself?
Are you content with where you are at the moment?
I always challenge myself. I appreciate where I am today,
Yes.
but I want to be better.
Right.
Me, always.
I mean, that's fantastic, right? So, to become this better version of yourself, you work towards it. It isn't something that just lands in your lap.
Yeah.
And you are content every day when you go to sleep. You are happy with what you've achieved. Even although it's been nothing, you are content with that.
Yeah.
Because if you go to bed and you are not content, you wake up uncontent.
Yeah.
And this inadequacy and this, this unhappiness goes on. But if you start every day anew and say, I see possibilities, I see chances, and you don't punish yourself. Because some people punish themselves so heavily, they can't get ahead. They are sitting in this punishment of, I'm not adequate enough. That's true. And when you start saying to yourself, hey, but I did the best I could.
Yeah.
Hey, let's do that again. Let's do it again today. And one thing I learned, somebody said to me, she said, you have to understand, Lucinda, that it's not reaping that makes a day successful. It is what you sow in one day.
What you say.
Tune into Radio Africa Europe, the home of African diaspora.